it's Josephine from the Pointe shop. Today I fitted one of the dancers from the YAGP competition. Her name is Charlize and she was so cute I could not even stand it.
The first Pointe shoe they put me in was the Block Heritage. But then my first Pointe class, the Shank cracked.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, your toes are so bendy. I just saw that coming out of your toe pad. Holy moly, those are so bendy. Can you point for me? No wonder you cracked your shoes. Can you flex for me? Wow, oh my goodness. Turnout. And then let's do a nice little point. Oh my gosh, is your turnout real? Are you a robot? Oh my goodness. Your toes bend quite a bit underneath your feet. This looks really, really tapered compared to your toes. Now, Charlize, when you're dancing, does this part ever bother you?
Not normally, but over competition, I got blisters here and here.
I can see that. Can you go into parallel for me? And then elevate. All of the knuckles are scraped and all the tiny toes are a little bit scraped. When I took a look at her bare foot, when they point and they're really flexible in their toes, you can see all of the knuckles on the top. You can also see that she had a lot of red in the joints of her toes as well because she is very, very flexible. Do you feel like sometimes the shank twists a little bit on your feet?
Yeah, it hasn't been a problem, but I've noticed that it isn't exactly on my heel.
I can see that too. And that actually happens a lot with your type of foot because you have long toes and you have those metatarsals that are a little bit wider, so the top of your knuckles are kind of spreading out the shoe and it's making it twist a bit. So that's very typical. I really, really love the shoe on you. I think we might be able to go a little bit wider just because I think your knuckle is starting to peek out, and that happens a lot when you dance a lot on pointe. Your feet get a little bit bigger because all of those muscles are starting to spread out your feet. And then that's when the twisting starts to happen too. So it's very normal that sometimes when you dance a lot, when your feet get really buff, then you have to get something that's a little bit wider. So it's usually a good sign when your feet get wider. Okay. Yeah. When I see dancers like her, they're already so beautiful on their pointe shoes. I'm making very, very small tweaks, but especially for competition, we want it to be absolutely perfect. She told me that during competition, her pinky joint right there started to hurt. We often call that a Tailor's bunion. And if that starts to hurt, it typically means that it is just a little bit too narrow. The width of the pointe shoe is measured from this point to this point, not up here. So we want to make sure that there's ample room right across the knuckles, and I think it was getting just a little bit too tight for her. So you can see that there's a little bit of less knuckling going on. It's a little bit wider right here. And when you dance a lot more, your feet spread out a little bit, and every day is a little bit different. So if you dance from Monday through Friday, let's say, on Saturday your feet are probably the biggest, and then you have a couple days off, and then on Monday your feet shrinks back again. So a lot of ballerinas, they will have two different sizes for shoes. So some dancers will wear their Bigfoot shoe at the end of the week, and at the beginning of the week they'll wear their smaller shoes. This is so pretty, so you might be able to wear that size and that size depending on what day of the week it is. That's funny, huh?
Yeah.
Typically with longer toes you want a longer vamp, but I wanted to see what she looked in a shorter vamp just for funsies. So this is really, really pretty. So if you ever wanted to wear something that was just a little bit softer, that doesn't twist at all. This isn't twisting at all right here. So this is much, much better. Then you can try something that is a little bit shorter in the vamp. Even though your toes are really long, I think you can handle it. The knuckles are all, again, well encapsulated inside the pointe shoe, so there's nothing sticking out. Everything looks really good. That's beautiful. So these are just options you can have. I love the shoe that you're in right now, but we can try something a little bit wider, and you can also wear something that's a little bit shorter in the vamp if you want that extra roll through. Because even though your feet are gorgeous and they're really flexible, right now you don't weigh very much, so you don't want to be floating inside your shoes, yeah? Even though she doesn't weigh much, when a dancer is very light, I typically give them a super light shoe. But because Charlize is so flexible in her feet, she still needs a pretty strong shank in order to support her.
I had a question.
Yes, my dear.
After like 3 weeks or so, the shank cracked.
Oh, thank you for telling me. You might be getting a little bit too bendy for the shoe. So you might have to go back to a non-pre-arched shoe because this is a 3/4 shank and it's made to break that way, but if your foot's too bendy, you'll just snap it.
Yeah.
So instead of going to a really pre-arched shoe, let's just do a slight slope instead of a completely pre-arch.
Okay.
So it sounds like you're very, very strong. And the 3/4 shank, it actually makes the shoe last a little bit longer. I usually only see that with professional dancers. Usually dancers who are 12 or 13 years old, they usually make the 3/4 shank snap faster than a full shank. But normally professionals, they make the 3/4 shank last longer. So you're in that category. So now that we know that the 3/4 shank lasts a bit longer, that means that you need this back part to be a little bit softer and this part to be really, really hard. Okay? So, oh wow, I can really feel that crack there. It really snapped it, huh? So at the beginning, you can take a shoe like this. You 3/4 it by kind of bending it a little bit, making sure that it doesn't snap, but you jet glue right where you bend it down, because if you make that part hard, it'll make your shoes last longer. You don't need this back part. Which is rare. Most dancers in training need that back part, but you don't. So that's good.
How far up would I jet glue it from here?
Good question. Everybody has a different part where your foot bends. Yours bend right here. So right when you bend, I want you to jet glue right from your arch down.
So about to here?
Exactly. So maybe 3 fingers worth. My 3 fingers, not your 3 fingers, like this. I thought a slightly wider shoe that was a little bit stronger in the shank or a little bit less pre-arch would be a better idea for her. And the most fun thing about talking to her is about her experience at YAGP.
I think my favorite thing would be the extra opportunity of being on stage.
That's very special, huh?
Yeah, the stage is like my second home. It's like my happy place. And over quarantine, I really missed it, but I was so excited that I could compete and perform again.
Oh, that's so good. Tell me what variation you did.
I did a variation from Paquita and the Lilac Fairy.
Oh, that is perfect for your super long legs. Because you just have legs, huh? The Lilac Fairy is just all legs. Okay, gorgeous. Now that you have some options, you could probably wear something even a little bit softer for YAGP, just because softer shoes are quieter on stage and it makes your feet look pretty. Not that you need any help, but I think that would be really good just in general. If you're doing competition, doing a little bit softer and even a little bit tighter is probably really good. Charlize has been on Pointe for 3 years now. She's 13. She's competed for a couple of years, and this is something that she looks forward to every year. And instead of seeing something as scary and competition-y, I think it's good to see it as an opportunity to perform and have fun. So if you are interested in seeing her full video, we're going to have the YAGP link on our description box so you can watch her dance on stage and you can see her full video. If you are interested in competing, if you're interested in finding the perfect shoe for you, you can always message us, leave that on the comments, and we'll talk to you guys later.